Hello, the uneducated businessman here, and today, moving on with the leadership program, I want to talk about the trust triangle. And this is something I've literally just been learning. So I'm going to read off of my notes because it hasn't all sunk into the noggin yet. So the trust triangle, imagine there's a triangle and at the center there is trust. Now to the top of the triangle you have authenticity, to the bottom left you have logic, and the bottom right you have empathy. Now, authenticity, that's the real you. This is something that I think most people have a good ability to work out. It's one of the reasons why within this channel I'm not sort of trying to be anything other than what I am. I'm not the kind of guy to come on here and be like an American presenter and rah and talk a million miles an hour and have fantastic graphics and lights flashing. It's not me. I'm down to earth. I'm just a normal guy. I'm the uneducated businessman, and that's all I want to be. I don't want to be anything else. And I think if I come on here and I try to be something else, I try to be something I wasn't, people would look at it and they'd switch off quite quickly. They'd realise I was being fake. They wouldn't believe into it. They wouldn't buy what I'm saying because it wouldn't be me. I just talk, and I talk from the heart, and I talk from my mind and sometimes my notes as well. And I don't make any excuses for sometimes not knowing and having to look at my notes, because this is real. This is who I am. I am being authentic, and hopefully that comes across, and hopefully people will realise that, and their BS detectors will kick in and say, yeah, this guy is okay. He's just being himself. And to be a leader, you have to be yourself. If you go in there and you pretend to be something you're not, and you portray an image of somebody you're not, people aren't going to buy into it. They're just going to see through it, and they're just not going to believe you. They're going to clam up. They're going to think you're full of crap, and it's over. Be yourself. Be authentic. Just who you are is good enough. I guarantee you. You don't need to be anybody else. Just be authentic. That's the top of the triangle. Now, logic. When you act with logic, and I talked about this in the last video with the way you have to calm yourself down, get that part of your brain thinking that thinks logically. Don't go in with the fight or flight response where you make poor and quick decisions. When you go in with a logical approach and you're thinking things through and you're calm, people will start to trust you. They will see that. They'll see you being authentic, and they'll see you thinking with logic. That's two parts. And then empathy. Empathy, people believing you care about them. And it's not believing you care about them because you've tricked them, because you've fooled them. You have to genuinely care about the people you're working with. If you don't care about them, why should they care about you? It's the old thing, isn't it? If you don't love yourself, why should anyone else love you? And I believe in that. And I believe that to be interested in yourself, you have to be interested in others. And to be an interesting person, I should say, you have to be interested in others. That's how you learn. That's how you find things out. And I'm always interested in others. I'm always interested in what makes them tick. I'm always interested in what their problems are. I'm always interested to see if I can help, because I generally care about people. That's why I'm doing this channel as well, because I want to help people. I want people to understand the lessons I've got to share, because I think it's very, very important in life that we become better leaders, we become more educated, and we build better businesses, because job opportunities are going to be very, very hard to come by in the future. So we need to be thinking ahead. And one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I care. I care about people, even if I've never met you. If I can help you in some way, I'm genuinely happy about that. If I could get a comment on one of my videos to say, I put some of your teachings into practice and it worked, I got a promotion, or the team hit target, or my businesses increase its turnover, profits, whatever, I'm going to feel incredibly proud, even though I don't know you. And I genuinely mean that. I do. So I think as a leader's point of view, I've got the authenticity, I've got the empathy within me, and I do have that experience now to talk from logic. But it doesn't always go well. You know, things do break down, and this is what happens when you lose trust. If you lose trust from your team, it's generally because something has gone amiss. Now, I'll give you an example. When my business, or one of my businesses, started to do really well, I got very carried away. I thought I'd made it. I thought, you know, I didn't have to put the effort in anymore. I thought I didn't have to care anymore. I thought I got to a level where I was indestructible, and it would always be that way. I would never have any problems. And I stepped out. I stopped caring about the business, actually, because it just became a cash cow. I stopped caring about the people within the business because I wasn't seeing them anymore, because I was never there. And I stopped caring about their futures because it became about me again, because the business had got to a certain level. I was, you know, probably on a huge ego trip, doing stupid things and not caring about the people that work there. And then I had that trust disappear because people could pick up on it. Lee's not here anymore. Lee's not leading us anymore. Lee doesn't care about us anymore. And boom, it started to fold inwards and collapse. So you've got to be very conscious about the three elements of that triangle: empathy, logic, and authenticity. And if you're finding that the trust isn't coming through, you've got to revisit these parts, and you've got to realize where it's breaking down. You know, I always felt as if I was being authentic. Maybe I wasn't completely thinking about it, because I probably went on a bit of an ego trip, so I had to change that. I always felt I cared, but actually I didn't, because I wasn't there anymore. I wasn't mixing with my staff, so I wasn't really finding out about them. I wasn't really learning about them anymore, so I wasn't caring. Was I thinking with logic? Probably not, because I wasn't thinking anymore. I was just consuming. Everything had gone well. I didn't need to think anymore in my mind. So actually, when I think back on it, all three parts of that triangle, boom, disappeared. So it's no wonder the trust in me and my company disappeared, because I wasn't there driving it forward and displaying these attributes. And now we've changed it again, and now I do care, and now I've seen the error of my ways, and I can be humble about that, and I can admit my mistakes. And I do admit my mistakes, and people respond to that as well. When you get things wrong, admit your mistakes. You're only human. You know, people will forgive you. I always think trust is like a bank account. You know, if you put £1,000 in a bank account and you keep drawing out, someday you're going to go into the overdraft and you're going to have no money left over. But if you put £1,000 in and you draw some out and then you top it up again, you move forward. And it's like that with trust. If you build up enough trust with your staff or your employees or your colleagues, and you falter a little bit, like the money in the bank, it will go down a bit. But if you then realise you faltered, if you look at the triangle and you realise, I'm not being authentic, I'm not thinking logically, or I'm not showing any empathy, and you start to do that again, you build that level of trust back up again, and things work. So be mindful of that. Think of the, what do they call it? The trust triangle: logic, empathy, authenticity, and trust in the centre of that, feeding off of all of them. Hope that was useful. Next video, I'm going to be talking about micromanaging. I know a lot of leaders that like to micromanage their staff. Personally, I don't think that builds trust, and I don't think that works. And in the next video, I'll be talking about micromanaging and why it doesn't work. Take care. I'll see you soon.